Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Conversations in Pop Culture, and we are back in the saddle once again for another season. And this episode is brought to you by my friend Preston Poulter and his book, Palace of the Golden Princess, which offers a fun, sexy romp through a fantasy RPG setting run by women. Issue 3 launches soon on Kickstarter, and he's doing me a favor by offering anybody who right now wants to read issue 1 by signing up at pocketjackcomics.com for his email list, and he'll send you issue 1 in a PDF so you can try before you buy. But enough about that, because I have with me amazing comic creator and cover artist Marissa Pope, who has worked for Big Dog Inc., Merc, Mag, Mount Olympus, Totally Rad Comics, Zenoscope, Naughty Nice, Eternal Press, and a few others. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm excited because I know your work from a lot of different areas. I know it from Merc Mag. I know a little bit from Zenoscope. I know it from Tom Hutchinson's Big Dog Inc. and the TikTok
Hmm.
variants, which are fun. And I'm still
Yeah,
waiting
there's.
for them. I'm still waiting for them. It's not his fault. It's not Tom's fault. Things happen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it did not get banned from China yet, though. I want to make that crystal clear there. But before we get into all of your comic covers, I am curious how you got into comics because in a lot of ways, I feel you are a breath of fresh air in the industry.
Uh, let's see. I got into comics. One of my graphic design teachers in school, he was doing graphic design for Brian Pulido's Lady Death campaigns. He was just showing me like a bunch of art and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. So then I started like helping out at conventions, at Here's Initiative, and got to meet some people. And then I hit up Mike DeBalfo and see if he wanted like an apprentice, and he said yes. And so that's kind of like where it all kind of started.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay.
So I enjoy Mike DeBaffo's work a lot.
Yeah. No, me too.
I would hope you would say yes to that. I would hope.
No,
Let
he
me
sucks. He sucks. He's awful. He's an awful artist.
I know his work primarily from Zenoscope, and I think a lot of
Yeah.
people know his work from Zenoscope heavily. And obviously, what is that like though? Because he is very, very good at what he does.
Yeah.
And so, what is that like to have somebody who really does that bad girl style and is well respected in the art community, has been for a long time, and a lot of people want to work with Mike, and to have him teach you and improve upon your drawing and really bring you into the comic world, and not even just on an artistic level and a drawing level, but also in a business sense too, to some degree, because some of that has rubbed off, I would imagine.
Yeah. Working with Mike has been great. He is very patient. Like he has kids, so his patience levels are like kind of through the roof. um, we're like being able to teach somebody how to do something. Excuse me. He's very knowledgeable, and pretty articulate in the way that he talks about things, and the way that he will describe how to do something. Some things are a little harder than others, like to talk about, because it's all visual work. So there's a lot of like showing like examples like on paper, like how to do stuff. And then as he goes, he'll kind of like try to explain like how he's doing. But I mean, you as well as anybody else, sometimes can just like watch like a YouTube video or something with like no commentary, and like then kind of figure out like, oh, they laid on this color and this color, or they drew the line like that, or they inked it like this, without like really saying it, like without like saying much, because like we're visual people. But yeah, no, working with him has been like really cool. Like going to cons and stuff with him, it's fun. We have a lot of the same friends, so that makes it really fun and easy. We don't really have to divide up our time too much between like this group or that group, because we're all kind of friends with the same people. So
So let's actually talk about something that you, I guess, touched upon, and mentorship. I mean, I'm not a fan of mentorship as far as business goes and things of that, because I'm a strong believer that you should dive into, if you're running a business, and run it yourself and learn the hard knocks. That's just a personal philosophy. But I think
okay.
with art, it's a little bit different, because I think that if you have somebody who is your direct influence that you've been watching and then you're learning from them, you're going to pick up a lot of different traits and a lot of different styles, and it's going to be a faster process of getting to that next level, I would imagine. And so, what is that like to have a direct line to somebody who is obviously a massive influence on you and also has been around and has been with, I guess, the big leagues, for lack of a better word? And so, what is that like? Because it just speeds up what you, if you did this all on your own, I feel.
Yeah, it kind of speeds up the process a little bit, but you get out of it as much as you put into it. So if I only half-assed it, I'd only get a half-assed result. It's just like with anything that you do, like I wanted it. I wanted to learn art. I wanted to learn like how to do business stuff. Like I wanted to learn all of that. So you can't be stubborn. You can't be, and of course, like you are stubborn at some points because I am. And he'll be the first one to tell you that I am on some aspects. But when it comes to like my job and art and everything, it's pretty easy to just like sit back and listen. Because you also don't want to waste their time as well. You know what I mean? So I hope that answers your question.
Well, I was just letting you finish. I didn't know if you were finished. And then the other thing too that's really cool about you, and then obviously we're gonna talk about some cool stuff that you've done, and I have pictures. And I really want to get into that, but I'm really curious about this because you have that Mike DeBaffo style, but you also have your own style. And what is that like? Because you can see that you're influenced by Mike DeBaffo and a few others, a little John Royals in there as well, and a few other people, and some J. Scott Campbell, I can pick up in your art. But you've also made it your own. And so what is that like? Because you have that breed of familiarity, but I know what a Marissa Pope cover looks like, where if you took your name off your cover, I know your cover, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, like Mike can only show me how to draw the way he draws. And it was really funny because like one night we were sitting down and we were like going over artists and stuff. Like we we're learning specifically like how to draw eyes and like faces and stuff. And he's like, well, he said, pick out an artist and just copy their face exactly. So I picked out Laura Braga. I really love Laura Braga's work. I think she's freaking amazing. So I picked out her stuff, one of her faces, and I was like, you know what? Like I'm just not really feeling it. Like this doesn't feel natural. This doesn't feel normal. I really like her style. I really like her work, but I don't feel like it fits me. And so the Mike was like, okay, well, just for shits and giggles, like pick one of my faces. Pick a face of mine out of my Instagram gallery that you like, and draw that. And I drew one of his White Widow faces, and it was almost like verbatim, like without any guidance from him at all. It was like almost like verbatim his face. And so that made it super easy. That made it super easy for him to be like, okay, well, I'll just show you how to draw like me then. And like we both see things a little differently. We both hold our pencils differently. Our techniques on how we do like how we throw our lines is different. So all of our stuff is going to be different, but it is heavily influenced, because like to teach somebody how to draw, you can only teach them how to draw the way you draw. And of course, like, yeah, like one of my influences are say Ryan Kincaid and J. Scott Campbell. Who else do I like? Eric, Mike Chrome, like Ebass, I like Elias Chatsudis a lot, like his work, but like the way that they draw, I'll incorporate some of their stuff, like Eric's detail, Elias's hair, like see like, oh, what did they do? How did they do this? And then it's like you flip it to your own, because like you don't draw just like them. You have your own style, and you just develop your own style over time. It kind of presents itself to you. You can't really force anything.
Yeah, see, I find this so interesting, right? Because as an interviewer, my idols are people like Larry King, Barbara Streisand, Howard Stern. In a lot of ways, I love Joe Rogan, and
Sure.
I even think something like Ben Shapiro is very good on his Sunday special. And so when I started building my show, I started looking at all of those guys, and those women. And then I said,
Mm-hmm.
well, how do I get this style down? And then it evolved into its own thing because I can't conduct an interview like Larry King, in which
Right.
I'm not that guy. And so
Yeah.
it's so interesting in finding your style and how you want to conduct something
Mm-hmm.
and what elements you want. And I just think it's absolutely fascinating because I love Bass. I love Elias Chazudis. Mike Chrome. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy Mike Chrome. I think Mike Chrome really good Thanksgiving covers. That's
Oh,
like Mike
yeah.
Chrome's like specialty. Um,
No, I love Mike Crumb's backgrounds. Like he will just go in there and like fuck a background up. Like he does so good at backgrounds. Like it's it's crazy. He's got this one Lady Death cover, and I think she's like sitting on the edge of this inside pool thing, and she's got like I think I might be mixing two together, but I think she's holding like this cloth like over her chest, but in the background he's got this completely like imagined perspective cathedral like stone like type stuff like happening. And I remember telling Mike DeBalfa one day, I was like, I'm working on this Lady Death cover and I really like Mike Crone's background, like I want to try like emulate that. And he goes, no you don't. He's like, that's really advanced, you can't do that. Like, not that you can't do that, but if you do it, it's gonna look really shitty. Like like he's like, don't do that, because Mike Crone has been doing this for years, and he can fake everything, and make it look believable. And because he can, because I love his background. Like I was just talking to Eric in Boston not this past weekend, the weekend before last. And he's like, well, who's one of your favorite comic book artists? And I was like, Mike Crone. And he goes, well, why? And I was like, because he does killer background. He draws ladies really well. I don't get me wrong, but I love Mike Crone's backgrounds. I could just go on, but yeah, no, his Thanksgiving covers, they're great. They're great.
I mean, he did two from Zenoscope that are
Mm-hmm.
beyond desirable, and everybody wants them. And
Mm-hmm.
they flip for decent money for decent money, and then there's something
Oh yeah.
else, and it's the background, it's the girl on it. I mean, in one of them, there's a photo, and it says something in the photo that's great, like something about the kitchen, and it's brilliant. It's so brilliant because it's so subtle, and
Yeah.
unless you are looking for it, you won't see it. But then when you see it, you're like, oh, he's just the devil's in the details.
Yeah. He's a very cheeky artist. That's what I appreciate about him and his personality, is that he's very cheeky. Um, I mean, I'm sure you follow him on like Facebook and stuff too. Like he's got a great personality. Like some of the shit that he's posts, like my favorite things that it's like some of my favorite things that he posts is his when he's coming and doing cons, like he'll like Photoshop his face onto like buff guys or like men with like kangaroos or whatever. I'm like, you're like, like that's so stupid, but it's so funny. He's
he,
great.
he seems like a fun guy to hang out with. He does, and which I've never been at a con where he's been at, and
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
at cons where other people like Chazudis has been at cons, and
Mm-hmm.
Chazudis is a very shy man. He's a very shy man. He's a very quiet
Yeah,
man. Um,
yeah. He's pretty quiet.
but like some others are not, and that's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But
Chris Enoch. Chris Enoch, it will talk your ear off, man. I give shit. Like I sat next to Chris in Boston, and oh my god, there's so many times where like it was like Ryan, me, then Chris, and like Ryan's drawing, and Chris is doing this sketch for somebody, and like but he keeps like stopping like talking to these people for like a half hour, like 40 minutes, and Ryan's like, get back to work, and he's like, you need to finish this commission, and Chris is like, I'm finishing it, and then like he'll continue to have his conversation for like another like half hour, 40 minutes or so. But he's such a sweet, like he's such a sweet guy too. Like I 10 out of 10 would sit next to Chris again at a con. I love Chris Enoch.
see, I don't have any of these stories because I haven't done a comic, and I have no desire. I have no desire to do a comic right now. Like I don't have the itch. I haven't been bitten by it.
Fine. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like I like selling comics. I like looking at art. I like moving art. But like I don't
Yeah,
want to create something. Like I don't have the itch right now. And
yeah.
most people have told me that if you don't have the itch, just stay out. Just stay
Yeah.
out of it. Just stay out.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's absolutely a ton of work. It's a ton of work. You can ask any retailer, any creator. It's a ton of work. So if you are happy doing what you're doing right now, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a lot of work. I sell a lot of comics on eBay, and it's a lot of work. But like, I don't want to create something. It seems like it's impossible, and it just seems
Yeah.
like I'm the type of guy that's gonna make it perfect, and it will never get published, and so nobody will ever see it, and it'll be like 10K
Well,
and
that's
terrible.
why you have to do just self-publishing. Like make your own LLC or whatever and just do self-publishing. Like don't try to pitch it to Image or anything. I mean you can if you want to, like go for it. But yeah, like a lot of people do self-publishing because they cut out the middleman and they handle everything themselves.
Yeah, I just don't
But
have the itch right now, and people said you're better off just staying out.
yeah.
And I tend to agree. But enough about that because I want to talk about a bunch of your stuff. We're going to go through a bunch of
Okay.
your covers. But the
Okay.
thing that really caught my eye is your post-it notes,
Oh,
and
okay.
I like your post-it notes because they're this,
Okay.
and I think
Oh my
it's
God, it's so old.
I think it's clever. I really enjoy this. Obviously, a lot of this is pop culture. I'm still trying
Right.
to figure out who this is.
It's
It's very
Reptar.
confusing. Yeah.
It's yeah, from the Rugrats. Actually do that for my sister for her birthday.
And then we have Horsey. I know this one. I know this one for
Mhm.
sure. Um,
Yeah.
and then I have special affiliations with Toph because
Yeah.
I know Jesse Flowers very well, and
Okay.
I did get to interview the voice actress Suki very early on in my career as well. And
Okay.
so, what's the story behind the post-it notes? Because it seems so simple, it seems fun, and it just seems that like I've never seen anybody do anything like that. Post it on Instagram, post it on Facebook and I'm like, this is such a brilliant concept that seems just awesome. And like more art should do it.
It's actually a stolen concept. So Todd Knock does that. Todd Knock is doing that for years, um, and he does it with he does it with all the characters like Marvel, DC, whoever he does it with freaking everybody. He's so good at it. So in 2020, and we were all on lockdown, he was like, no, we're all stuck inside. We all can't go anywhere. Let's just like pass the time and like have some fun. So like every day man, like every day for a while. I don't want to say how long, but every day for a while, he was doing these little like stay at home con drawing things. And he would do them live, and he would have people come in and comment. And the premise of it was is that you could sit and draw along with him. Like he was like Todd Knock is super chill. Like I met him a couple times. Like he's he's a huge influence as well. Um, yeah, like the whole premise of like that was like to just you know have fun. This is a stressful time, but let's all have fun and do something like small and easy. Like just do a face shot or something. So like he would do like a Spider Gwen one day, or he would do like a thing, or like a Captain America or something, and we would all just kind of like draw along with him, and then we would post him up on Instagram, and just like hashtag Todd Knock art challenge or something, or Todd Knock post-it notes or something like that. And then he would share them in his story for however long. So then after that kind of was over, I was just like, oh well, because it's fun because like the Copics blend really well on like the shitty post-it note paper. Like they blend really well. Um, I I guess it's like thin paper with alcohol markers. That just kind of it just kind of works. So, but yeah, no, I haven't done them in a while.
So
I
let's actually talk about this because this is what's interesting is that I feel there's an element of fun missing sometimes from comics, both
mhm,
in covers and cover production, commissions, prints, as well as even doing a fun art challenge. And I know
yeah,
that Indie October is coming up or Indie Tober, or whatever it's called, but
Inktober.
Inktober,
Yeah,
and I feel like the last one, I didn't think it was fun. Like I was watching it and it didn't seem fun to me. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I was in a different place. Maybe I was under stress. I don't know. But like something seemed missing. And something in comics, in my opinion, has been missing, where I think people have forgotten that you're supposed to have a good time doing this. And
Yeah.
this seems like this was a good time to do it. And I think it's a real issue in comics. And what I find, and I don't know if you find this, but I find the Kickstarters that are having a good time, I would say most of them do really well.
Yeah.
And they're having a fun time with their rewards. And maybe they're not doing $1 million, but they fund and they seem to be having a fun time on the ride, which is kind of like what you're supposed to do on a roller coaster. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how you feel, because that's how I feel. And now I'm looking to back fun projects on Kickstarter. I'm looking to back fun companies, that
Yeah.
do fun things and do outlandish things to
Yeah.
some degree as well. And so I'm just curious how you feel about that, because you're in the industry and I'm looking in as a consumer.
It really, like, for me, it depends on like what I'm drawing. Like, it's like if something can be fun or not. Like Jamie Tyndall just pitched me a cover for his new series that it sounds super fun. Like I'm not like promoting his product just because like, oh, it's Jimmy Tyndall, let's promote his product. I was like, no, like he gave me the breakdown of like everything he was going to for his Kickstarter, and it's fucking badass. Like I love the premise behind his Kickstarter, and I think it's supposed to come out in like end of October. I know he's gonna have it for, the plan is he's supposed to have it for New York Comic Con and stuff as well. So I think he wants to do everything before New York. But like it just sounds like some. I'm not going to spoil anything, like because I don't want to say anything I'm not supposed to. But I think the premise of his new Kickstarter is going to be so much fun. I've talked to like his girl Sarah that runs, because they swap off and do different cons and stuff, and Sarah's super excited about it as well. So I'm really excited for that. And Coffin does a bunch of fun stuff too. Like they're hype. Like Brian Polito is such a fun guy. Being able to like go to headquarters and talk to him and Fran and like Brandy and Hooligan and everybody there, like they're always fun. But I feel like it really depends on like the project too, and it's like, and a lot of it I feel like is your state of mind, like where you're at as a creator or an artist. If you're going to have fun with something, you know, like if you're just like having a bad day, like of course you're not going to have fun doing what you're doing, you know. It's just like any other job. Like I don't want to go to work today. It's like I like, we use like graphic design for an example. I did graphic design for like 7 years, and I had fun with it at first, but then I got like bored of it, or like my subject matter like wasn't what I wanted it to be, because I wasn't doing what I wanted to do with that, because I was doing a lot of like web stuff at the time when I really wanted to do like Scientific American or like Vogue, like design home and gardens, like something like print, something fun, you know. So, but I also feel like it's like your mindset that you put yourself into. If you go into a project and say, I'm not going to have fun with this, I don't want to do this, then you're not going to have a fun time. So it's art is a huge mind game. It's like tennis. If you go into a tennis match and you say, this opponent is really hard, okay, they're going to kick your ass. So.
See, I find that so interesting. I mean, I run a business and I love what I do. I sell bad girl art on eBay.
Okay.
I sell baseball cards, and I love the
Okay.
hunt for baseball
Yeah.
cards, and I have a blast doing it. I love
Sure.
pulling baseball cards. I love negotiating a deal. Like I enjoy negotiating wholesale.
Okay.
I thoroughly enjoy it, and it's a lot of fun. And when you make a
Mm-hmm.
sale, and when you make a really nice sale and a lucrative one, it's a lot of fun. And
Sure.
so
Yeah.
I have a business that's a lot of fun, that is cash flow positive,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a day job on top of it, and I love it, and I don't want to stop anytime soon,
Yeah.
because I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm doing better than I've ever done before, because I think I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm bringing in a lot of fun product that people are
Yeah.
like, this is fun, and I get to buy a bunch of fun product, get to enjoy it. And I think that's my whole thing, is that like when I'm looking as a consumer and I'm even looking for merch for my business, I'm looking for fun,
Mm-hmm.
because life is hard.
Yeah.
People have problems. I mean, I have a pretty significant disability and my life is hard, and I want fun to take my mind off of something. And I think that
Sure.
a lot of people have forgotten that. And I think a lot of people also you know, to some degree in comics, I think they've forgotten that massively, that you're supposed to entertain me. That is your job on Kickstarter when you produce a book, is to entertain me. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
a happy story, but it has to entertain me. You can have a horrible story full of suspense where everybody dies at the end, but if you kept me entertained for 12 issues, you did your job. And I think, and that I wouldn't call that fun, but I would call it entertainment. Might be a better word.
I'd call that good. I'd call that good marketing. Like, you know, whenever people, because when people market their things well, it entices you to buy, and they can make their product. It could be the shittiest product, like super, I don't know, like earplugs, and it could be, they could be terrible quality. They could not work at all, but their marketing campaign could look fun and enticing, and it could be like, yeah, you're going to get the best sleep of your life if you use these earplugs. And it's like, oh yeah, I want the best sleep of my life. It's all about the presentation too, you know. So I think,
I'll give an example. I don't know if you've seen
okay,
the ads on Facebook. There's a Resident Evil Infinite Darkness just teamed up with an alcohol company. The alcohol is okay. Their
okay,
ads are awesome, off the chain. You have Leon S. Kennedy
yeah,
like drinking a bottle right before a zombie invasion. Their ads are off the chain. I'm like, I don't have a choice but to buy this because it's sitting like right when you walk into my house. So when all my friends come over, they see the bottle and they're like,
sure,
I get it. The
yeah,
bottle is like everybody can tell that I'm not going to drink the rest of it, but people
right,
are like, and the bottle looks neon green and it looks like a T virus.
oh
Like
cool,
it
yeah,
looks
yeah,
dope. It just and it's a bad alcohol. I'll just say it. I have no problem admitting
yeah,
it. It's the type of thing that if you don't have anything else and your friend's like, yo, man, I want to kind of get smashed, you give it to your friend after it's sitting in the back of your freezer for 8 months. It's
right,
that type
right,
of alcohol. But
yeah,
point is that I agree completely. Um,
yeah,
but I digress because I do want to talk about some of your commission work.
okay,
And since we're on the topic of semi-anime, we and Pokemon, this is your Misty.
yeah. So I did that for Totally Rad. It's his character Violet cosplaying as Misty, and when I was growing up, me and my cousin really liked Pokemon. I'm not so much into it now, like as an adult. But you know, like being like 9, 10, 11 years old, like it was like what 2002, 2003, 4, 5, 6, whatever, however old I was, 2004 maybe. Um, yeah, it was always fun hanging out with like my cousins and like watching Pokemon together.
So let's even talk about that because this is one of the things that I love Pokemon. I'm
Okay.
still into it. I think it's better than ever before, and it's more popular than it's ever been.
Hmm.
And so people recognize it. It brings back nostalgia. And so, what is that like to get to do something that you grew up watching? I grew up watching. I think it's safe to say our generation. It's our generation show to some degree. I think it's a
Sure.
fair assumption. And people like that stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a new generation that likes it. There's an old generation that likes it. There's an old generation introducing it to a new generation. And so, what is that like from an artistic standpoint, a cover standpoint, a commission standpoint? That there's a wide market for it and that it's rather popular. And I would imagine that people are like, oh, that's so cool seeing that.
It makes it. We'll go back to the fun thing. It makes it a lot of fun, because you're already familiar with the character. You already know the characters, and you can give the character the love that it that they need to make the piece, in theory, successful. Um, like I did, I drew a Bowsette. I drew a Bowsette commission for my friend whenever I did Planet Comic Con in February, March or February, and like I never get pitched concepts like that, and like I was like, oh dude, that's so awesome. Like yes, I will. Like yeah, no one ever offers for me to draw cool stuff. It's always like, you know, Black Cat or Mary Jane or this person or this Marvel character, and I'm like, yeah. I will. um, but
So
I
let's actually talk about that because this is one of my favorite characters from anime
okay.
that you did, and I love
Okay,
her.
yeah.
I love her.
I
She's great.
I honestly I don't know anything about her. I like the way she looks. She looks fun. I know her name is Yoko Littner. Like that's all I know. Like I had a guy come up to my table. I finished coloring down in Boston, and I had a guy come up to my table and he said something. I'm like, what? And he said the same thing again, and I'm like, huh? And he goes, it's the show. It's the show that she's in, and I'm like, okay, I don't know. I just looked her up online one day and I was like, she looks like she's fun to draw. And she is fun to draw. Like I don't know anything about her. But I like her outfit, I like her scarf, I like her hair. Like she's got like these cute boots, like the shorts that she wears, like her giant gun. Like she just looks like a fun girl that will kill you if you cross her. So I'm like, yeah, that's awesome.
So what is that like? Because obviously, Gurren Lagann is the show. Love
Okay.
Gurren Lagann. Do not watch it if you want a happy show to watch. It is a very sad, slow burning, tearing down into the depths of despair type of show.
Okay.
Great character, amazing concept from start to finish. But what is that like to draw that character? Because you take a little bit of an American spin on her. It's
Sure.
obviously a Japanese anime, and it's a fun thing to draw, and it's an awesome commission, and
Yeah.
it's an expensive one because I think it's still available.
Yeah, yeah, SR Comics actually has her up on his like on his site right now, for sale. But the a huge influence on me right now as far as like anime characters and like kind of like a mix of we'll say like Western and Eastern styles is Reek, R-E how do you spell his name? Reiq. He works for Capcom, Udon Entertainment. He does his own he does his own stuff, and he's got like a super. He has a really cool style, a really fun style. I'm heavily influenced by what he draws and who he draws, and that's like kind of like where I kind of as of late have kind of picked my characters that I want to draw, like Morrigan, um, Cammy. So like my Morrigan. Um, she's so much fun to draw. I love drawing Morrigan. And I have this thing right now, like I can't draw small tits right now. Like I don't know like what it is. And it's because well actually I know what it is. I've been looking at Reek's work a lot, and his girls always have like huge jugs. So like that's like just like it's like translating over into my work right now. So I gotta like tone it back
Oh,
a little bit, I
what a
think.
problem! What a
Uh,
problem! Yeah.
I know. I was drawing for Friday or Saturday. I was doing this sketch and I was drawing a Mary Jane actually for this live show with Goblin Comics and on whatnot. And I was sketching her out, and I only had like the breakdown. I had like her head. It was just a bust sketch. I had her head and everything, and I was looking at her and I was like, dude, her fucking tits are as big as her head. Each one is as big or bigger than her head. And I wanted to post that on Facebook and say, sorry guys, I just can't draw small boobs right now. I don't know what my problem is. You know, and because in my mind I thought it was funny. It's not actually funny. But yeah, I was like, what's my deal? So
But is that really a problem? I mean, at this,
it's not. I don't think it's a problem, but like not like not a real one though. But you know,
in all seriousness, though, because this is actually fascinating. Right now, the market, and I know this because I'm killing it on eBay with Bad Girl Art Books, and
sure.
I'm selling them, and they're doing great. And obviously, it is well endowed women, to say the least. You know,
Mm-hmm.
obviously wearing skimpy clothing or revealing things. And Mount Olympus is known for this. Zenoscope does it well.
Absolutely.
I think Big Dog Inc. is classy.
Yeah.
I'll say that, but Merc doesn't. Merc can go either way. Merc is
Yeah.
classy. They could also go a little extreme. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a few others. There's a few others. Obviously, Dustin Burnell can go either way on some of
Sure.
his projects. And so, what is? But it does sell, and it seems that people want this, and nobody's complaining for the most part. And so, what is that like? Because I don't know how long that's gonna last. I don't know if it's ever gonna leave now either, because it left once with Top Cow, and then it came back about 5 6 years later. So, and it's been slowly growing. And so, what is this
Mhm.
like for you? Because it's kind of a good area to be in because it's been growing every year since really 2007, I want to say.
What, like drawing the risque women, like
Oh,
drawing
bad girl
like
art. Bad girl art.
bagger art. Um, I typically prefer to draw more like girl next door stuff. Like if you looked in my gallery, my Chitara, she's kind of got like a bitchy face, but like my Morrigan, she's got like she's got a happier face. Jubilee's got more of a happier face. Like I don't know, like I feel like I embody more of like a like I feel like I embody more of a happy spirit than like a bitchy spirit. So it's itchy. It's more easy for me to draw a girl that's
I mean, this is bad girl art,
bubbly.
though. I mean, this is bad girl art, in which that bad girl art is that risque, obviously a little bit more suggestive, like gets a little bit more out there, obviously bigger breasts, obviously revealing a little more clothing and things of that. I mean, and it's really interesting because it's just very cool, and it's a cool space to see it. And also, what's nice about it for once is that a lot more women are doing it now,
Mm-hmm.
where it used to be a boys club exclusively. And now
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's still, I think, 60/40, but 10 years ago it was what, like 95.5%. And
Yeah,
now it's gotten
probably.
a hell of a lot more even. I mean, it's just been a massive uptick, and that's why I say you're a breath of fresh air. You, Senku Inaki, Don Mateague, JP
Mm-hmm.
Roth. There's a few others,
Right.
but it's nice to see a whole generation of women doing bad girl art.
Yeah, like I guess like I take the definition of like bad girl art in a different way of like facial expression, like a bitchy girl versus like a fun girl.
It could be
Like
cheesecake art is another way to put it too.
cheesecake art. Yeah, cheesecake art is like that's what Mike calls it a lot. He calls it like the cheesecake pinup. Um like pinup art, I guess, would be
It's
another
peanut art.
would be another one. Yeah.
I just call
Yeah.
it bad girl art. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
That's just the term that I use in my
Yeah, no, it's
business,
fine.
because most
Yeah.
people understand it. But it's cheesecake art is another synonym. Pinup art is another synonym. Keith
Yeah.
Harvey does pinup art,
Yeah.
and it's in that vein, and it's all cousins, or it's all the same thing. But I
Right.
find it fascinating, in a lot of ways. But then, I do want to dive into some other covers out of this, and
Okay.
since you already mentioned Jim Noble and Totally Rad, I have this cover, and I like this
Oh, you
cover.
do.
I do. I really like this cover. It's got a little bit of a Flintstones vibe to it. It's got a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of a Pebbles viewpoint to it. I think this was the campaign that he did it at like 90,000 or 100,000. I think maybe I'm mistaken it, but this was the one where he had like 100 covers. I know that much.
Oh
Um,
yeah, on that campaign he had like a million covers. He was insane.
Yeah. So what's the story behind this one? Because I think I know the story behind it, but I'm curious if my rumors that I heard about it are true.
Okay. I think this one was Tom Hutchinson. I don't know if you're familiar, but Tom Hutchinson was doing like this like Sunday night draw with like me, Mike, Ryan, and April Reyna for a while. And he would have on different people who had like different Kickstarter campaigns like come on, and we would like draw their characters like Dan Mendoza or Princess, like the guy that created like Princess Star Thief. We would like draw their characters or whoever. Joe Benitez. Um, and yeah, I just drew it on like a 9x12, like sketched it up, colored it, and then he was like, I don't know if it was like after the show or it was on the show. He wanted to use it as a cover, and I'm like, sure, like go for it, like whatever. So I scanned it in, sent it to him, and then he like just used it as a cover. I don't know if I've seen that book out in the wild though. Oh my god, I've been to Jim's house so many times. Like he's got books everywhere, like literally everywhere. Um, and I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. So I don't know if you printed that one just specifically for the Kickstarter or what.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I was like, oh, that's a cool cover, and it's Marissa Pope, and I'm like, okay, cool. This works.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because that campaign was not about, for me, the story. That
Yeah.
campaign was about what cover do you want, and you're gonna get it, which is perfectly fine. And I
Yeah.
actually like Jim's business model a lot for that. Um, and so I like that book a lot. I think it's a fun book. I think it's a little bit different. And that's the other thing too, is that it's a headshot. And that's why
Hmm.
I like it, where it's a little bit different and it's a little bit, different than this one.
Right. Right.
Um,
Yeah. Just a straight up and down, like straight up and down pose that everyone's done over and over again. So yeah.
and
Have you
then,
read Jim? Have you opened Jim's books? Like, do you know what's on the inside of them?
I have a little one in my house in the next 2 weeks, so I would prefer not to.
I always like when I have his comps and stuff on my table at like my shows and stuff, and people are like, "Are these comic books?" And yeah.
I don't
And
know.
I'm like, "Do you like porn?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All
This
right,
is
here
my
you go."
problem, is that I am a retailer, so I buy and sell books on eBay, and eBay apparently is really giving me a hard time about nude-rated covers
Sure.
and
Yeah.
covers that potentially are Jim's books. So
Right.
I don't have a personal problem with Jim's
Oh,
books.
me neither. Me neither.
I have a business problem with Jim's books because I
Yeah.
don't feel like buying $300 if he would sell it to me and then be stuck with a $300 liability. And it's not a Jim Noble problem. It's that eBay makes it hard for me to sell it and there's potential risk. And I can't
Right.
risk lucrative business. And that's how I
Right.
feel at a con, is that I'm like, what happens if a 7-year-old opens up that book and the parent flips out?
Well, that's why
And
you don't. I mean, that's why you don't give the 7-year-old the Jim Noble books. Like you don't. I typically don't let children touch my table anyway, just because the fact is like, yeah, like I am an 18 and older crowd. And if you're gonna flip through my portfolio, I have like cover ups and stuff in my portfolio for like if I did like a topless cover or something, like I'll censor it, but I'm like, look, like if you're gonna flip, like do it at your discretion because this is 18 and older.
my issue is that I'm the guy who's going to get slammed. I just
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen, and I'm going to be the one. And
Yeah. I
and
mean, it's
knowing
it's
my luck,
different for it's different for guys and girls anyway. Like, yeah, I feel like it's different for I feel like it's
if
different
you put
for guys and
me
girls. So
and somebody else with the same portfolio of over 18, I will be the one who gets hammered, and the other guy will get away for free and will
yeah.
get away with murder. It's just my luck, and I just have come to the conclusion that I have made a business choice. But I
Yeah.
like Jim's books for my personal collection.
Mhm.
I like Jim's books. I
Yeah.
really like these covers. This is another one that's good.
I know.
Um,
I love that one.
and then I know
Super
this
love that one.
one just came out, I think, as well.
Yep.
And
Yep. I like that one too.
like I love that one. Like for my personal collection,
Hmm.
absolutely would buy it. And when I have some more cash, I'm gonna go find it because I absolutely love it. And I would feel comfortable selling this book. I would feel comfortable selling it if it wasn't opened because there's nothing
Right.
suggestive about that book. Um,
Yeah, no, like the things I do for Jim, I keep them pretty non-suggestive. He's asked me, he goes, "Would you do like a Rad at the Max book?" I'm like, "I'm not fucking doing that for you." Like we're cool and everything, but I got a standard to set for myself as an artist, you know? Like I I don't I don't want to promote myself that way. With the way he conducts some of his like some of his books, and he knows, and he's fine with it. Like he's only asked me like maybe like once or twice, you know, and he leaves it alone. Um, But yeah, like I actually did like the for that Jenny girl, like the cupcake girl, like I did the character design for her. It's like I draw her a lot. So I gave her like the on the one with like she's like carrying the basket like the cupcakes or whatever, the booty cover. Like yeah, like she's got like I gave her like a halt like a pink halter top and like shorts and stuff because like I don't know, it's like classic and I love drawing short hair and blue hair is always fun. I had blue hair for a time, and that was like it was like my favorite hair color for a minute. So like his Jenny character is always like the one that I'll opt to draw the most, unless he asks for something different, just because like that's my baby.
And then this is another one that I think you did.
Yeah, no, I like that one too.
Yeah, no, because again, these covers are nothing that hasn't been done, and this is not offensive as
Yeah,
far.
right.
I
Yeah, it's
mean,
just straight up cheesecake pinup.
and so I just think that. But if you open the book up,
Yeah, you're gonna get a little. You're gonna get a little surprise, unfortunately.
but that's a Jim Noble book. I mean, if you don't
Yeah.
know what you're signing up for, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I just know that if I had a Jim Noble book at my table at a con, I'll be the one to get nabbed. That's all I'm gonna say. I
Yeah.
just know it. I just
Yeah.
know it's my luck, and it's just gonna end that way. And I'm gonna be like, I'm so sorry. Is always
Right.
out of my mouth. I'm just like, I'm sorry, and that's gonna be the end. It's gonna be great.
Right.
And then I think you did this too. I think you did this, which is
Oh yeah, it's Persuasion 2 for Ryan Kincaid.
and since we're on the indie comic realm, and obviously this is the line artwork, and so it's pretty cool. I mean, this is another one that is definitely fascinating. Like I like this cover, and I actually haven't seen it colored. Where I'm sure it is. I just haven't seen
Yeah.
it. But I like the way it looks, and I like the detail, and I like in many ways I actually like it. I think I like it more in black and white and lines than in color.
Yeah. Well, I actually have the colored book. Let me grab it for you and show you really quick. Hold on.
I've just never seen it, and it was just like one of those things where I was just like, great, like where is this book?
Let's see. That's not it. Here, this is the colored version.
Yeah, see, I really like the black and white more. I feel like the color's distracting on it for me.
Yeah. I mean, I like the black. I generally like pencil work anyway, hence I'm a penciler. But I like coloring stuff too. I mean, Gwen Dollygalt colored that one. She does a lot of work for Greg Watson.
Oh, that guy. Oh, that
Yeah.
guy. That Jim Cornette fan. Oh.
I don't know anything about.
Oh no. I have a good relationship.
I'm like,
That's why.
Oh, okay.
It's an inside joke for those who know it.
Okay.
I love Greg Watson. He's great. He's absolutely.
Yeah, he does good work. Yeah, he does good work.
He's a very busy man on Kickstarter.
He is.
What is it? Every campaign now has a Greg Watson on it. Like,
I don't do as many Kickstarters as I used to. I just don't. I do stuff like Tom Hutchinson and everything. And then I'm on the Lady Death stuff, but I don't know. That one. I drew that one so long ago. 2022. Yeah, I probably drew it the beginning. I probably drew that a year ago.
So let's actually talk about that. So obviously I'm going to show Big Dog Ink stuff. So I like that a lot. So this is, I guess, the 50 sets, and I think this is Penny for Your Soul, I want to say.
Yeah.
I think so. So this was the version of that. I don't know if this was a hollow foil or just the virgin, or I don't know if there was both on that.
Not sure actually.
It's again. I don't know everything. And this was, I think, Critter. I think Critter, right. Was this the last one, or was this the
I think this was the latest one. I think he just wrapped this one up last week or week before, maybe.
I think so. I'm a little out of touch. And then this is the version of that. And then this is the one that's really hard to find because I think there's only 35 of these.
Yeah, there wasn't hardly any of these made. I love that he did the pink foil of that one. I get asked all the time if I have that one, and I think I've seen a few of them pop up on eBay. But other than that, that one's like, whoever has these is probably going to hold on to them. Like not to toot my own horn in any way, but like Tom just really picked a really cool foil to do a limited run of that. So
There's a few of those with Big Dog Ink. There's an Oz one that has a limited 50 that's done in like the green and
yeah,
Emerald City Oz. It's
right.
very cool, but it's not as good as that one. And I don't have that one. And that's just. I mean, it's a beautiful cover. It's just a beautiful cover. It's a nice tint to it, and it's the gimmick with the foil with the limited rarity of it makes it a very cool cover. And
Right.
then this cover is not that hard to find. This is very easy to find. It's not that expensive. And what's disturbing on this, because I think this was your first time working with Nei as a colorist, and
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. And I mean, Nia Ruffino is Nia Ruffino. I mean, I don't think I need to
Right.
say anything else.
Yeah, she's still the best. Like she's still the best colorist. Like I love working with Nia. She does so much of her own stuff right now, and I know she won't do a lot of like the naughty stuff, so it's kind of hard for me to suggest her on things because everybody wants a topless version of everything. And last I heard, she kind of wants to keep her stuff clean, which is fine. Like she can do whatever she wants. She's fucking Nei. What was I gonna say? But yeah, that was my first time working with her, and I was super excited. I was super honored to have her like touch my pencils. Basically, like it was great. Whenever I got the cover back, I was like, oh my god, that's just the best. That's it. Like this is like what I want every time. But like unfortunately, like I have to do like naughty covers and stuff, so I can't get her to do the stuff all the time. Like I had her color one of my like a Supergirl piece to make a print out of, and that was nice. But everyone was like, "Oh, you're gonna do a naughty version of her?" And I'm like, "No, because it's Supergirl. You don't make Supergirl naughty. Like you leave her clothes on." Like plus, like Nia wouldn't make a patch for that anyway, and I don't blame her.
Yeah, that's the Supergirl. It's a very cool print. And so and then obviously there's a few more Kickstarters I want to talk about.
Okay.
This one right here is pretty cool.
Okay.
Because Dustin's coming on tomorrow, of all people.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And then this one I like a lot.
Oh yeah, that was super fun to draw. Oh my gosh, that was so fun to draw.
Because I work in New Rochelle, and there's a mural across from where I work at the Madison Hotel done by this graffiti artist, and it's very similar to this. And
Really?
it's beautiful, beautiful piece by this legendary French graffiti artist on this hotel, and it's just amazing. And that's why I picked this up, and I actually got this one in a foil because I think
cool.
I think it's gonna look sick. And so, what is that like? Because you've done some work for him as well, and he's another one of those Kickstarters that you do work for. And so, what's that like? Because his company is fascinating, and they put out a lot of books.
Yeah, working with Dustin is fine. Dustin's a cool guy. Right now I'm not doing anything with him. I only had work through like March or April or something like that. But like I had to like free up a little bit of space in my schedule. So I was like, we just haven't talked in a long time. Like he honestly, like it's the algorithm. I don't ever see him come through my feed or anything. So I don't really know. Like I don't really know what he's I don't really know what he's working on. So like the algorithm is kind of like screwed up a little bit. He comes through my Instagram every now and again, but on Facebook, I don't really see him a whole lot. But yeah, working with Dustin was fine.
Yeah, let's actually talk about this because obviously you pulled back out of Kickstarters, and I'm missing a bunch of Kickstarters that you've done. And obviously you're working, with Tom. You do some work for Tom, and there's a few others. But you've also started doing a lot of work for Merck. You've done a bunch of other work for other people, and more, I guess, I wouldn't say mainstream, but outside of crowdfunding might be a good way to put it. And so what is that like? Because on top of that, then you mentioned another thing that is also interesting where algorithms are tricky right now, and people are seeing your work, people are not seeing your work. And so what is this like for you to sort of navigate that as an artist? Because I think that's a really interesting thing that's going on is, certain people are seeing it. And then you're also now working with Merck and a few other
Mhm.
companies. And that's a different route. And so what is that like? Zenoscope's another one. Naughty and Nice
Mhm.
is another one. And so what is that like? Because that's a whole different ball game in a lot of
It's
ways.
like it's tough, like doing like the whole algorithm and making sure like your stuff is being seen, but at the same time, it's like, you know what, it's almost like not even worth stressing about. Like, yeah, of course I want people to see my work. Of course I want to like come across people's feeds and stuff. But at the same time, it's like it's too like I got so many things to worry about, as far as like we'll say running my business and working and everything. It's like I don't have time to sit here and like worry about Instagram's algorithm, like it's like it is really frustrating. And it sometimes it's like, yeah, like you'll get shadow banned. It's like, well, why am I getting shadow banned? Because I don't post anything I'm not supposed to. Like that's I know the rules. I cover like I cover stuff up. I don't really show I don't really show any of like the naughty stuff of like of my work. And of course like I'll have like those like purely topless collectors, and if they see I put something new out, they'll message me and be like, hey, like is there topless version? I'm like, yep, here it is. And they're like, all right, cool. So like I try to just like keep like the topless version off of my stuff to stay in the algorithm more. But even then it's like it's just fucking hard. So
So I mean, this I'm curious how you feel about this because with comics right now, as a consumer and even as somebody who buys and sells books on eBay and looking for
mhm,
new merch, I have a problem where there's so much content out there. And I
mhm,
don't know what is the next big thing. I don't know what's going to work. I don't know what's not going to work. And there's also a
mhm.
lot of good stuff out there. And there's also a lot of dog shit out there, for lack of a better word. And
Sure.
so I have a problem in deciphering what to buy, what not to buy, both on the mainstream, on indie, sub indie, sub mainstream, whatever you want to call it. And
Mhm,
I find that to be a fascinating problem in comics where I think there's too much. I really do. And I think it's a complicated issue. And we're seeing it on Kickstarter where people say, "Oh, if your campaign is struggling, maybe that's because it's your fault and maybe you're doing something wrong." And to some degree, I agree with that. But I'm also saying, look, there is right now 100 great projects on Kickstarter,
mhm,
and those 100 projects are all competing for money and
mhm.
on one level or another. And there's somebody's project who should not be struggling, and it's not because it's a bad project, but it's because there's 99 comparable projects and something
Right.
to give. And so I'm very curious how you feel about that because you're not necessarily running some of those Kickstarters or directly. I guess you're providing covers in a lot of ways.
Right.
And what is
Right.
that like for you? Because you may or may not break a Kickstarter or be the thing that pushes it over. And it's a very weird place to be in, I would imagine.
Mm, I don't know. I guess that like I never really thought about it. I guess. Yeah, it's always nice. Like you can see like your numbers. Let's say like when you do a Kickstarter, like you can see your numbers in like real time. You can see like how many people backed like your cover or whatever. And uh, sometimes it can be discouraging to be like, oh, well, only 5 people bought this. But then other times, like you have another Kickstarter campaign, like 30 people bought it, and it's like, okay, well, is it the art or is it the time? Um, it could be like any number, like it could like be like any number of reasons. So like I tried to just like look at it if I, oh my god, if I even remember to, like I forgot Tom's campaign was even running until he posted like, oh, we have 6 boxes left and it had 48 hours to go on the campaign. I'm like, oh shit, sorry Tom, I totally forgot this is even a thing that was even going, because like I'm so moving on to like the next thing, like I'll do my project. I don't know when he's gonna run his project. He'll give me a deadline. I'll turn it in. He'll get it colored. He'll show me the colors, and then like I don't know when he's running a campaign after that. I don't ask questions. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, it's good. Run it. Like just push it, and then I'm already on to the next thing. I'm already by the time that happens, I'm already 6 projects away from his project.
Oh
That I
man,
just like I just forget. So I don't
that's so interesting.
generally, yeah, I don't generally like keep up with them on like anymore. I used to. I say like whenever I was doing this like part time, like I used to keep up with them quite a bit because that's like how I like kind of got into being published was on a lot of Kickstarters and stuff. But now I'm just like, well,
I
I
don't
have
know.
so
Like,
many moving I have so
so
many moving parts. Hmm?
I have moving parts in my business, but I track everything that I sell. And
That's because you're selling. Like I there's a difference between like selling and then like just giving it to my publisher, because I have to give it to my publisher, this publisher, this publisher, this publisher. And it's like, but I will track like my own personal sales, from like my books and stuff.
so I actually track cards values. And so
Hmm.
I stay on top of cars that I sold because I want to know if I made a good or bad deal 3 or 4 years
Hmm.
down the road, because this way I could spot a trend and that dictates how much I'm going to sell it for, or if I see it's undervalued for some reason. And it's a little bit different also when you're looking at baseball players and you're looking at statistics. There's
Right.
other things involved, but I like to know if I made a good or bad deal because I want to learn what I did right or wrong in a situation.
Right.
But I think it's really just interesting where I just stay on top of my shit. But
Yeah.
I agree that when you have a lot of moving parts, it's difficult. But that's so interesting where I'm just because I speak to a lot of voice actors and they feel the same way about a role as well,
Hmm.
where they do the role and then they're in and out. Now,
Hmm.
if it's a role that it's, I'll throw out an anime that everybody knows. If you're in Dragon Ball Z, and
Hmm.
you had 70 episodes, that's going to make your career. So you're going to be well aware of that
Oh,
character.
absolutely. Absolutely.
But if you were in Dragon Ball Z for 10 episodes and it was a minor arc, you're in and out
Hmm.
and you go on to the next thing. And so
Oh,
uh,
yeah. Yeah.
I think it's fascinating. I just think it's fascinating. But I digress. Again, I'm not in your space. I'm in an adjacent space because I do sell a lot of comics, but I've
Right.
never produced anything, and I'm the first person to concede. But even talking about it, because I mentioned Zenoscope, I love Zenoscope. I think
Hmm.
Zenoscope does a great job. I think you had a showcase with Zenoscope just recently. That was super limited.
Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. You tell me. I literally have no idea.
I think it's limited to 50. It's a pretty cool book. Um,
What?
but I
Well, which
know
one?
you
Well,
have a
I'm like, which one is it? Because I don't know. They
yeah,
don't
no,
tell me
no, no,
anything.
no. I think it was like a beach thing, and like she was in a bikini, and like her back was slightly turned. Um,
Oh, that one. Oh, that one. Oh my God. That was an interior to start, and then they flipped it into a cover. Yeah, it was a Van Helsing. It was like a booty shot, and she's like looking over her shoulder at you.
was that one of the things where it was like one of their swimsuit specials that they
Yeah.
then turned into? Because you've done some of that stuff where it's pinups or it's like the Christmas pinup stuff,
Hmm.
and then sometimes they turn that stuff into covers, sometimes they do other
Hmm.
stuff, mini art prints, but it's still pretty cool because it's a limited 50 print run. I mean, it's a small
Yeah.
showcase, and I like their showcases. So
Yeah, yeah. I think that's like the only one. Like, I didn't know whenever that was gonna be. I didn't even know when that one even was gonna be released. Like, Dave told me, like that, like my editor, like he told me that it was gonna be turned into a cover, but I don't know when he's like planning on doing it. Like, that's like him and his, like in his business people, I guess, other publisher people
David
that sit down
Wall's
and discuss.
there, Ralph's in there, Joe's in there.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, shoot, who else is editing for them right now? I know Pat is in editing for them right now. I
Pat, Pat
Shan,
Pat Shand. Yeah.
yeah. Pat's doing a lot of writing.
Okay.
He probably has some input, but I know Pat. I don't think is part of the editing team right now.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but I know Dave Rancini's doing it. Dave Wall's doing a
Hmm.
lot of stuff. I think
Yeah.
Ralph are heavily involved. Um,
Yeah, I talked to Dave Franchini the most, and I like working with Dave. Like he's really nice. He's super flexible. Like, um,
he's like the
yeah,
chills.
I just like. Oh
So
yeah, no, he's super chill. I've only talked to Ralph once though, and it was only to like set up like an interview with oh shoot, I don't remember his name now,
oh
but one
Noah.
of the guys. Yeah, Noah. Yeah, Noah. Yeah, I like talking to Noah. Noah was super fun. I would talk to Noah again outside of work. he was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I've never had an interaction with Noah. Beyond that, I wish that used to be in Zenoscope a lot, and then I've gotten out of them. I'm still
Mm-hmm.
I like their stories. Um,
Yeah.
but their books are some books are great on the retail side, some are not so great. But I digress. That's neither here nor there. But I know you have your Gretel. I
Yeah,
don't,
my girl.
but I love Gretel. I love Gretel in so many ways. Um, and then this is the Van Helsing.
Mm-hmm.
And then this, I don't, I think this just came out.
Yeah, it just came out. I had one of my friends sent it to me. He goes, you didn't tell me you did this. I'm like, I didn't know it was out. I know they're I think all those pieces were like direct to market pieces. I think they were like in diamond for comic shops and stuff to order. So I mean they keep giving me work, so I guess they're doing pretty well.
And then, and
I
then,
can only I can only assume.
and then I don't know if this came out yet. I think this is you, right?
Yeah, no, that's me. Yeah, yeah.
I know
Yeah,
this is Grim 77. I don't know if Grim 77 came out yet.
yeah, that one was a lot of fun because he wanted to do I always want to call her Sky Mathers. I always want to call her Robin Hood for some reason. I'm like, your name's not Robin Hood. Stop that.
Yeah.
She yeah, he pitched me the idea of doing like her with the castle in the background, and I was like, well, wait, like she reads and stuff. So then I went back and forth with Dave for a second. Well, once, not for a second, but like I went back and forth. I was like, hey, like what if we did this? Like, what if we did like her in like a magical library, and it's kind of like Hobbity and Harry Pottery and like this that, and the other. And I'm like, do you have any other pictures of her in her life? Because John Royal did a piece of her in the library. That was really cool. I was like, oh, what? Let's do that. But like that, like let's mix it up. Oh my god, let's mix it up and do kind of like open windows, but kind of cluttery. But you know, whatever you see here is kind of like what my Benjamin was. But yeah, this one was a lot. This one was a lot of fun to do. That just like conceptualizing this piece specifically was a lot of fun to do.
And what is this like? Because this is a bunch of this stuff was direct to market. And so obviously it's in comic shops, it's on comic walls. Obviously people have preview ordered it, but some of it will also be put out on display. And
Uh-huh.
what is that like? Because that's a whole different ball game than doing a Kickstarter, doing crowdfunding, where you need to have a cover that catches somebody's eye and that kind of sells the book, or at least makes them stop.
Right.
Because that to me is what the point of a cover is in a comic shop, is that somebody walks in and they're an impulse buyer. Maybe they're picking up their previews that they ordered, but then they see something on the shelf that they want, and then it's an impulse buy. And
Right.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe you disagree, and feel free to disagree with me. But to me, that's what a cover does in a
Yeah.
comic. So what is that like? Because I don't know if you think about it on that sense, but that would make me stop and at least say, "What's this book?"
Yeah, so Dave will generally just pitch me an idea of like what what he wants to see, um, and then I'll give him like layouts and stuff. Or like we'll say with like a Sky Matters piece, like we'll kind of go back and forth. Like he'll give me an idea. I'm like, oh what if we did this? What if we combine these two ideas? And we'll have a little bit of a discussion about it, and then meet somewhere in the middle. But ultimately, like we want to create something that is going to catch the readers, like the buyer's eye. It's kind of it's just kind of like that. But yeah, typically Dave will pitch me an idea of of like what he wants to see, what he'll think is going to work, and then I'll give him my layouts, and then he'll pick one, and then we'll kind of just like go from there. And then we can have a discussion about who's going to color it, like who's available. Like that Bell piece, like Chuck Obach was the one that colored it, and then like Sky Mathers, Hedwin Zaldivar did that one. Like he is, I like. Oh my god, I love Hedwin. I love working with Hedwin. He does like I like video, like video game art and stuff, but they're real rich and vibrant and just like super saturated. Like I like that in my work a lot, and he does that really well. So any chance I get to like work with Hedwin, I will. And like we're good at like I say we're not like we're not like best friends, but like we're good enough friends. We're like I can just like hit him up and be like, hey, like how's your day going, or like what projects are you working on, blah blah blah. He's he's a very busy man headwind, so it's kind of hard to catch him sometimes. But whenever I do, my work with him generally turns out really well.
And then staying with Zenescope to some degree, and a cousin of Zenescope is because they do the Oz stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go. And this is not Zenescope. This is, I think, Naughty and Nice. And
Yeah.
these are our connecting covers, and that's something. That's something. I mean, Glinda is definitely doing something that might not be appropriate to little old Dorothy.
Well, that was not my idea.
Hey! They're not in Kansas, so it's all right.
Yeah, that wasn't my idea. I think that I would have done this a little differently, but this is what the guy wanted. Like, he sent me a picture of a screenshot out of the movie, and he's like, "What do you put Glinda behind her?" And I'm like, "Okay, I guess we'll do that. That's what you want." So, sometimes you just gotta draw things that you don't want to draw.
Sometimes you just need a magical moment.
Yeah.
I've been waiting a week for that line. I've been waiting a week. But and then staying with what they do, and I think it's because this is Michael Marat stuff, right?
Yeah, Marat Michaels, yeah.
I'm sorry. I
No,
always
it's
get it
okay.
mixed up. I always get it mixed up. It's like the 20th time that I got his name mixed up. For whatever reason, I just think of it that way. It's just terrible. But this is the St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I did that for Jason Witten for his Comic Connections store. Jason's, oh my god, Jason's so cool. He looks like he's just having the time of his life right now. He's always going on like these like cruises, with like these like rock and roll band type cruises. He just looks like he's having the time of his life. I'm so jealous. So.
And then there's this one too, which is
Nope. Yep. The Harley Finn Easter. Staying with Jason Witten.
a lot of fun
Yeah,
stuff.
that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
This is I mean, Marat Michaels is the king of the parody. That's what he does. He's the king.
No, I like Marat.
So there you go. And then this is where we're. And then I do want to touch upon Mount Olympus because I love Mount Olympus, and they make me a boatload of money. And this is straight out of Mike DeBaffo. Straight out.
Yeah.
Straight out.
Straight pinup.
I mean, this is Mike DeBaffo 101. Like not to like put you on the spot, not to say you didn't do anything wrong here. I mean, but this is embodying everything he's taught you. This
Yeah,
without a doubt. And I think this was for Arizona, right? For Phoenix Con around that time.
I think so. Yeah, that's whenever he gave me my comps. So I think that's about the time. Yeah.
And so obviously there's a lot of stuff. I think there was a nude version of this too, and then I think there's like an ultra rare version of it. And so
there's a red version of it as well. I didn't. The white one looks familiar, but I have the red version for myself.
This might be the ultra rare. That's what this might be, because what they do at Mount Olympus is that they sell in the weirdest way. Not the weirdest way, but there's the regular print run, which is all usually 65 or less. Then there's a hollow foil, which is limited to 15. And then there's the metals that are limited to 15. But with the metals, you get an ultra rare. So they're also limited to 15. And so it's really a fascinating way to sell. And this thing was only available for like 48 hours, which also
that's cool.
Really cool too. And so when Mount Olympus does something, you either buy it or it gets vaulted, essentially. And every once in a while, they probably bring it out, or they might sell them at cons. But like, that's why their books trade for $50-$60, because once they're gone, they're impossible to find.
Okay. Yeah, I've ordered Ron 3 times. I have him for the the next little bit. So I'm excited to see like what he gives me because he's been doing some really fun stuff lately. So I'm super excited to see what he's gonna give me.
Oh yeah, I mean, they've been doing a lot of homages stuff. They've done
Mhm.
Street Fighter, they've done Resident
Mhm.
Evil, they've done
Mhm.
Pokemon, they've just did Dark Magician Girl from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's always fun. I wanna just draw her for myself.
What else have they done just recently? I mean, they've done a bunch of stuff just recently. They did 2099 Spider-Man. I have all these books, that's the problem. They did Barbie. That was cool.
Oh, it's cool. Yeah, yeah.
What else did they do? I have all these books. I have all these books. It's they've done a bunch of Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Um, oh man, they've done like a bunch of the mock Avengers. Um, they've done like I think Sinestro. Oh man, like they did the Flash. Oh, they've done everything.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. No, Ron's a little he turned like he I think he has good ideas and he turns things out and he picks the right artist for the right projects. And I think that's why he does so well.
They did Beauty and the Beast for their latest Kickstarter. That was a good cover. That's an awesome
Right.
cover. They did
Yeah.
Kill a Kill. That was cool.
Okay.
They did Attack on Titan. That was
Okay.
good. But I digress. I could go on for hours about it because again, I need to know all this and I know where they're going and I know they make me money.
Right.
And
Right.
so
Right.
they're gonna fund my retirement single handedly. It's terrible. It's gonna be like, so Andrew, how'd you get retire when you're 50? Mount Olympus.
Mount Olympus.
That should just be their tagline right there.
Right. Right. Funding
Retirement
people's
vacancy.
retirements.
Oh my gosh, but I digress. Because I do want to talk about Merck, and I like
Okay.
Merck a lot. I think Merck is absolutely fascinating, and I am waiting for this book to come to me, even though it's been out for a while.
Okay.
Um, but I'm excited. I'm waiting for this book to come to me, even though it's been out for a while.
Yeah.
I do like snow bunnies. I like the fact that her snowboard says cat and it's got like a skull cross thingy on it. I like the detail. I really like the detail on the snowboard.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to show the nude versions of this book because I would like to maintain my YouTube account. Um,
Sure.
same thing with this one. But what is this like to be part of them?
To be
Because
part of Merc?
yeah, Death Rage 2. That's cool.
Yeah.
Not 2 as in the second Death Rage, but as in
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then there's this right here as well.
Yeah,
And
I love that one. I love that one. I like the pencils on that one better than the colors. I mean, I like the colors just fine.
I don't
Um,
know if that is that Death Rage or is
no,
that
this is that's a hardly thin cover that I did for Clay McDonald. But yeah, no, working with Murphy and everything, it's been good. She's like like a subsidiary of like Jamie Tendall, what she used to be anyway. Before she kind of like did like started doing like her own thing. But yeah, no, I've always liked Murphy. Murphy's really chill. She's like an alt girl. She's got like these like cool ideas for like her characters and stuff. So I've I've, I've enjoyed working with them. I don't know.
let's actually talk about this because Merck came out of nowhere in a lot of
Okay.
ways. Ran an amazing Kickstarter with their first Kickstarter, did like
Mhm.
100,000, and then they built a company following that Kickstarter,
Mhm.
and they've become a powerhouse in a lot of ways, and they push out
Sure.
a lot of things. I think one of their best products is actually Born of Blood. Um, I
Okay.
think I think Born of Blood is actually their best comic that they put out, story wise, art wise, cover wise. I think that they kill it with Born of Blood every
Sure.
single campaign. And so what is that like to be part of a company that has really taken market share, has actually had a marketing plan, and
Hmm.
have these covers that people want and that they're desirable and that you're all in on Merc. That's almost their attitude. And it's fascinating because they came out of nowhere within what, like 2-3 years. I mean, they have a huge fan base and they're, basically captivating an audience that I think was
Right.
starving for good comics.
Yeah. I don't know. a lot of the companies that I work for, honestly, I don't know a lot about them. I give them the projects, like we don't talk a lot outside of our projects about like different business stuff, like what they're doing, what they're planning to do, because like if it's not involving, let's say, like the artists that they're hiring, the things just don't really get talked about. That's not just saying that about Merck, it's saying about like pretty much everybody. And yeah, Murphy's been really fun. Like Murphy's been really fun to work with. She's pitched me some pretty good ideas, like fun stuff, like the Egyptian thing. I like drawing Egyptian stuff. So like that. In general, in history, I like that. And then
To even though circle back a little bit, and I'm going to challenge. I mean, even if you don't talk to them, I mean, seeing what they've done and understanding what they've done and understanding their infrastructure and that their Kickstarters kill it and that their merchandise kills it, and whether it's your cover or somebody else's cover, I mean, it directly and indirectly benefits you. And so what is that like to be like, hey, I'm working for this company that is dominant, for lack of a better word. I mean, it's to equate this to something. I mean, there's a reason why I pick up Merck books to buy and flip, because I'm like, this is a company, for lack of a better word, that is the future in many ways. And so what is that like to be part of that? Because you have covers with them and your covers are moving and they're selling and you're a gear in that machine. And it must be very cool for you to be like, I either got lucky or I have the talent or whatever it is, but I'm part of this unit. And it adds, I would imagine, a lot, because I think it elevates your status in certain ways.
Sure, it's a little bit of an ego boost. Like I can say that like openly. It's I think it's a little bit of an ego boost, because like they don't pick like shitty artists to like work with. Like they have I think they have a good group of people that they work with. Like they get John Royal on stuff. Elias does some stuff with them. DeBalfo's done some stuff with them. Chrome has done stuff with them. Like they've kind of like touched everybody. And they like Drax, oh gosh, I don't know his last name, but like Drax
Gal.
Drax Gal, like he does some pretty cool stuff for them too. Like he's got such a cute style.
Courtney Rose does stuff for them.
Yeah, sure, yeah. It's fun. Like they have a lot of like a lot of connections and stuff, like with people as well, just like, I mean, like I guess like everybody does. Everybody kind of has like connections with people. So, but yeah, it's fun working. I work with them a couple times a year. Because they work with so many artists, like you can't be on everything that they do. I think they run a campaign like every 3 months or something like that.
Merch? So, no.
Yeah.
They're running every month. They're running every 3 weeks.
Oh, they are? Oh, see, this is how much I don't. This is how much I don't keep up with what my publishers do. Like I'm kind of on call. I schedule things out, and if I'm not closely associated with something, like I don't follow them a lot. Like I keep up with Coffin. I feel like I keep up with Coffin the most.
Coffin is what, like every 3 months, I want to say.
Oh God, I don't know. I know they just. I know that I'm on their Kickstarter right now. That's the only reason why I know they're on a Kickstarter, is because and even before, because even before, I didn't know I was on the Kickstarter. I didn't know the Kickstarter was even running. But like one of my friends texts me and he's like, hey, like where's this cover? And I'm like, or when is this cover coming out? Or I saw it on Kickstarter or something, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know that was even out. So like, thanks for letting me know, because I had no idea.
I mean, I'll be very honest. I'm taking a break from Kickstarter. I'm broke now. I'm not broke. I just went through a pretty heavy liquidity issue.
Right.
When you expand a business, unfortunately, liquidity comes in and out. So I need to relax, and I do not want to touch Coffin, Merck, or Zenescope, or any other company that has great covers, because you will drain my bank account faster than anybody else will.
Sure.
You're part of the problem. I'm just letting you know.
Sorry. Well, sorry. Thanks for giving me your money.
So I know who's part of the problem and who's not. The word discipline doesn't work. But anyway, I
With a,
digress.
I'm like, discipline doesn't work with a lot of things. but
That is
but
true. That is true. But all jokes aside, I mean, that's what I think is that I actually think that working for Big Dog Inc., doing stuff with Zenoscope, you know, actually raises your clout. I think it
oh,
raises
absolutely.
your positioning and it raises your desirability. And I think
Right.
it's very important right now where in comics, I think word matters. I think consistency matters. And I think who you know, and I also think knowledge. And I also think
Oh,
the
for sure.
P word that nobody talks about, profitability matters. And
Oh,
that's
yeah, it does.
what he talks about is both for the company that you're working for and your personal bank account. And I think it's very, very, very complicated conversation to have right now because nobody's talking about the P word right now in comics. And then it's an issue. It's a massive problem. And
Yeah, I think money. I think money in general is just a weird thing to talk about openly with people.
see, I love talking about money. It's like my favorite topic in the world. I love talking about investing and everything else. I will stay up all night with people to talk about it, and I will go to work the next morning not tired. It's my favorite thing to
Yeah.
talk about because I want everybody to be a good investor. I want everybody to be financially independent. Whether that
Right.
happens or not, that's up to everybody else. But I agree. It could be complicated to talk about it. It's also
Sure.
if people want to talk about it, great. It's that's where I think it also comes down to is that when people want to talk about it, they'll talk about it. When they don't, there you go. But you have
Sure.
to initiate. Everybody, you have to initiate with me if you want to talk about money with me because I'll talk about money all day. But I digress.
Right.
Um, and then I want to touch upon one more thing, which I think is very important to talk about, and it's I think the best thing you've ever done in
Okay.
comics,
Okay.
and it's this.
That that one. Yeah. Super proud of that. Super proud of that one. I wish his name. I wish Gonzo Man was. I wish he would have signed his name at the bottom of that. It might be in the it might be in the published issue, but the proof that I got it wasn't on there. But that's all I have to show. So, but
So
yeah, my.
what's the story behind this? Because it's a pinup of Ibuki. I
Mm-hmm,
want to say is her
mm-hmm,
name.
mm-hmm.
I am not a Street Fighter expert. I know Yuri and I know a few other characters, but it's been a while. The last Street Fighter I played was like 5.
Sure.
Thoroughly enjoyed
Uh,
it. But I've been out of the loop on Street Fighter for a while now, but I do appreciate it and I think it's
yeah,
great.
yeah. I think that's kind of like where I stand too. Like, my boyfriend and I just watched Street Fighter 6. And we'll play every now and again. Neither one of us are like great at it, but it's just kind of, but it's just kind of fun. It's a fun game to play. But yeah, I think like before I started playing it, I did appreciate a lot of the character designs. I appreciated the characters themselves, which kind of like got me hyped to draw stuff. But my old editor at Coffin works at Udon now as oh, I actually don't know what he does. He works there. Um, and so he patched me through to their editor, and he was like, "Hey, we're always looking for new artists for like our interior, like for our interior books, like similarly to like what Zenoscope does, you know." And I'm like, he's like, "Do you want to do something?" I'm like, yeah. What kind of question is that? Of course, I want to do something. And I'm like, I don't care if it's a cover, I don't care if it's interiors, I don't care. Like, just like give it to me. And so he pitched me Ibuki, and I was like, okay, yeah, no, it's like super cool. And he's like, put her in whatever kind of bathing suit you want, make it cute. I'm like, all right, cool. So I just gave her put her in a bathing suit like that, and Gonzoman painted it brown, like her actual like suit. And I super Americanized her as far as style goes. I gave her like really full, thick ponytails. Like her bangs are all thick and full and like wavy. Like I did not sparse out on the hair. I mean, like I love thick hair. Like I love thick flowing hair. And like yeah, like everyone else kind of has like this mixture of Eastern and Western style, or mine is just completely Western. Like it's just completely like a complete Americanized style of her. So hope that bodes well in my favor for the future.
Yeah, and so what is this like? Because it's a published book out there. It's obviously direct market. It's a
Mm-hmm.
pinup, and it's
Mm-hmm.
Street Fighter. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing that I mean, a lot of people are going to pick this up. Where I don't follow Street Fighter comics, but I do
Mm-hmm.
every year pick up the swimsuit edition of Street Fighter because I absolutely love the pinup stuff in there, and I find it enjoyable. And I pick up a bunch of them. Preferably, I pick up some plain covers, and I usually pick up the main set. And so, what is that like? Because a lot of people are going to pick this book up and are going to enjoy it, and they might not necessarily know you as an artist, but they're going to see your artwork. And
Yeah.
it's kind of a cool thing in a lot of ways. And I would imagine that it's good for you. And people be like, oh, this is a really cool pinup. Who's Marissa Pope?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's like it's just an interior inside the book, so hopefully people open it. Because like yeah, like I'm always like, but like I'm an artist too, but like I like whenever I get like an art gallery type book, I do like to flip through it. Like I don't like of course like I'll buy the cover to because I like the cover work. I want to be able to appreciate the cover work as well. But then like I was like I want to look on the inside. So yeah, so hopefully the people are like looking inside of it and then you know will like maybe recognize or be familiar with or be brand new and familiarize themselves that way.
Because this is how I discovered a bunch of people from Zenoscope is that I'm a brand new user to Zenoscope, like their cover art, but
Sure.
never ever really read anything from them. And then what happened is that I'm like, cool, how I like this person, this person, this person on a bunch of pinups, and then you follow them from there. And then you say, cool, I
Mm-hmm.
like this artist more, I like this artist, what else did they do? And lo and behold, all of a sudden you become a fan of a particular artist because you've
Sure.
seen artwork and you've seen just a pinup and
Mm-hmm.
also, sometimes some of this stuff is never been published before, and sometimes one
Mm-hmm.
of these covers is a $400 cover, and you can't afford it, or it doesn't come up ever.
Right.
And
Right.
so now I can at least see the cover published, but I don't have to
Mm-hmm.
go and spend an arm and a leg for it. So I think it's very
Right.
interesting, and I think more companies should do it, especially when you have a lot of art in your repertoire. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's nice to reissue some of that art out in one
Yeah.
format or another. But
Yeah.
that's just my opinion, and I might be in the minority, and I'm okay with that. But I do want to back out of all of your work, and I do want to ask you a few questions before I let you get out of here and self promote.
Okay. Okay.
And I am curious your view on the state of comics. And I know it's a controversial
Okay.
question, and I'll slightly narrow it down. Um, Comics in the last probably 5 years have dramatically changed on every single level. COVID changed a lot of stuff. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of distribution has changed. Gates have come down. Walls have come down. And I believe anybody can make a comic. Now, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to preface this and say something mean. Not everybody can make a good comic, but everybody can make a comic. I'm a strong
Mm-hmm.
believer in that. And I'm curious how you feel and where the future comics are going because we're in a weird time in the world. The economy is in a weird place. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you know, and I know so many campaigns are struggling, as I mentioned before, and campaigns that have really good books are struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And creators are struggling who should not be struggling. And I don't necessarily think it's their fault. And I'm just curious what you think. And you could plead the fifth at any point.
um I think it's kind of here to stay. I mean, you have a point. Like, just because you can make a comic doesn't mean you should make a comic. But I do think that the people that start making comics like want to have fun because it can be a fun industry and it can be it's hard. It is hard. But I think that a lot of the reasons why people get into it is because they're a fan. They're a fan of like comics in general. And then they're like, oh, I could do this. Like, let's see. And like maybe they only produce like an issue or two, you know? Um, but I think from my point of view, I think they want to kind of like do this experiment and play around with it because it's like fun. It's supposed to be fun, and they walk into it with the mindset of it being fun. So I kind of think that if people kind of approach creating and keeping keeping the industry the way that it is with more of like a relaxed mindset, I think that it can do really well.
Do you feel, because this is I've been interviewing for 10 years, and I started this side of what I've done, and when COVID hit, and what I've seen is that I've seen people come in to have a good time. They wanted to tell
Hmm.
stories, and they
Hmm.
wanted to tell their stories, and they needed a way how to fund their story. And they
Hmm.
came to crowdfunding and Kickstarter. And then all of a sudden, a publisher comes and says, "Hey, we like your idea. We want to go direct to market after you Kickstarted," or they get a deal if with a company, and all of a sudden now they have a business, and I think they might have forgotten how to have a good time with their book, and then their book suffers because of that. And I've seen that. And so I think, part of the issue is that, like, Scott Snyder, I think, is having a blast right now as a writer. He has a lot of big contracts and a lot of money with his books, but all of it, I think he's doing 8 or 9 of them. I would say at least 6 of those 9, he seems to be having a really good time and making really good money with it. And I think
Hmm.
he has figured out how to have a good time in comics. But
Hmm.
then I'm not going to go mention people because I don't want to blast people. But I've seen people who had really fun books, and then now that they have contracts or they have publishers picking them up, their books have declined. And I don't think it's a writing issue. I think it's a fun issue because I think that now they're bogged down with the economics.
But yeah, I think that's like kind of like how it goes with like any business, right? Like you go into it and then it grows, and you have to change. Like you have to change with your business. Like it's not always going to stay the same. Um, but yeah, I think the business side of it can change you. It can make things like a little less fun, but I think I'm just being optimistic, really.
Well, you could be optimistic, and I will be pessimistic, which
Okay.
means that in the short term, you will be more likable than me, but in the long term, I will be right because everything always goes downhill. No, but I tend to take more of a contrarian view on all of this, and
Sure.
I just want good books,
Hmm.
and I think people have to figure out how to have a good time because every time I've bought a fun book, it's always gotten better. And people
Yeah.
who have a good time, they've always produced better books for me. But that's just how I feel. And every time somebody's gotten so business oriented with creativity, it's
Mm.
never panned it out well for me. Um, versus me business oriented in my eBay business, I'm having a lot of fun, but it's a business at the
Right.
start and the fun secondary. But I digress. I don't want to keep you here all night. So I do want to give you a chance to self promote yourself. Where can people
Okay.
bother you, find you, hit you up, book you for a cover? What you got coming out that you could talk about? Where can people find you on social media? All that fun stuff.
Yeah, just like Facebook, my website, both just Marissa Pope Art. And then my Instagram handle is Max_DeBarfo, play on Mike DeBarfo's name. um, which is like just like my three main platforms. I don't do Twitter or anything, so yeah, just like my website, Facebook. I mean, and if you just like type in my name to any of those, I'll pop up. So it's not super difficult to find me.
And then what I've been saying, and I've been saying it for I think almost 4, maybe 5 years now. You have to support indie comics and comics in general. And the way you do that is you actually buy people's covers and their artwork
Hmm.
and their books. Preferably, if they
Hmm.
have a Kickstarter, you actually back the Kickstarter. If they're in previews or Diamond or Luna or wherever else they are, you
Hmm.
actually buy it from there. And you buy it, or if they have a website and they're selling directly to you, you could buy from their website as well. But indirectly is very efficient. And if you're tight on cash or you already bought everything, following people on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever they're at, websites, email lists, wherever it is, obviously you should follow them there too, because that also means something. And it is very helpful when you follow people on social media and engage with them there. And also, you should tell publishers that hey, I like this artist. Would you consider getting a cover from them? Because I would like to see it. Big help in a lot of ways. So as far as
Mhm.
I'm concerned with everything that I'm doing, I am Pop Anime Comics on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. You type in Pop Anime Comics, something's gonna pop up. I also have a other show called Pop Anime Comics Lounge. Very cool. Got 120 interviews there. Some very cool people have been on that show, including Ebas, Keith Garvey, Senko Minaki, Don Mateague. A bunch of people have been on there. So very cool. If you're looking for that show, that's readily available. It's also on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you want to listen to it. This show is everywhere else. Conversations in Pop Culture. And yeah, you could also check out my eBay business, Pop Anime Comics Collectibles, where I got a bunch of books up there. Some really cool stuff's up there right now. And in the next probably 6 weeks, there's gonna be some really cool stuff coming in. Maybe some Big Dog Inks coming. I don't know. Just hint. And maybe some Barbie books are coming up too. But anyway, that's everything that I got going on. And on that note, I am gonna give you the final word.
All right. Well, draw and have fun. Be safe. Don't do dumb things. That's all I gotta say. Make
Hey,
good
that works
choices.
for me, everybody. And that is